Welcome to the Harjit and Prayer show with your host, Harjit and Prayer.
Hey Harjit, how's it going, dude?
Hey, Prayer. What's
Long
going on?
time no see.
Long time, long time. Yeah. Well, we actually keep in touch.
Yes, but we haven't done the recording for a bit.
Recording for a bit. Yeah. Life
Yep.
happens.
And Netflix binge watching happens as well.
Yeah, it's true. I've been doing a lot of that too. Speaking of Netflix, I have a problem with that. Like when I start a series of something, it's just that, and I'll go through it like sometimes 10 episodes in a sitting, and then I'm like, I should watch the 11th one too. I should watch the 12th. Never mind, that's next day. You know,
Gotcha. I've
those.
actually I've stopped binging stuff, but I'll like watch 2 episodes a night, and then I'm in bed by like 9:30 or something like that.
Oh, you go
Um,
early. Oh my
Dude,
God.
yeah. Well, here's what happened. I don't know if I talked about this before, but I was I had a couple of really late Netflix binge nights. Like I don't even know what I was watching. It might have been like the first season of Star Trek Discovery, which is an outstanding show.
Okay.
By the way, like you have to check it out. Weird, but really, really good. And I got like 2 hours of sleep 2 nights in a row.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and like 10, 15 years ago, I could do that no problem and function the next day, right? So I'm at work and I'm seeing some what I think are some weird Active Directory replication events. And I'm like, what is the deal with that? And so I'm talking to a coworker about some of the multi-master replication stuff. And he's like, no, I thought it worked like this. And I'm like, no, dude, those attributes aren't everything, all these attributes are replicated. It should be showing up the same way. But that wasn't the case at all. He was right, but I was like not violently, like, but very
Aggressive.
excited about like, no, I know I'm right. And then I looked it up. I'm like, oh my God, I am so wrong. And I'm like, that's such basic information.
Because you were
Uh,
exhausted.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow. So I got home and I'm like, all right, some changes need to happen. So I've
Yeah.
been regularly getting like, I go to bed like some nights I'll stay up definitely. But most of the time the trend is I go to bed, I'm in bed like by 9:30 and then I'm asleep by 10
Okay.
or something like that.
I'm not anywhere close to that. I think that's just when I'm barely getting started with my other stuff to catch
Gotcha.
up. You know how I do a lot of my, external work and all that stuff. And
Hmm.
so, when the family quiets down and stuff like that, and that's when
Sure.
I'm trying to prepare for the next day and then researching and doing social media stuff or whatever, and technical stuff, and
Yep.
and it's like next thing, and I'm binge watching, Netflix, and next thing you know, it's like already midnight. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
I gotta get some sleep, yeah. And then you pay for it the next day, obviously.
Yeah. I
You know.
talked to a medical professional about it, and she actually gave me some documentation of what happens if you regularly do not get the
It's
right
not,
amount of sleep. And it's real. I'm like, holy cow! Like,
yeah,
like the memories of the day don't get put into long-term storage.
right.
Your brain doesn't flush out the toxins or whatever that it's built up during the day. A lot of really, really wacky stuff. Like, and
Yeah.
the other thing I've noticed is that. Um, I am actually able to get more done during the day with 6, 7 hours of sleep a night, like significantly more
Yeah.
during the day. And my wife is very happy because I'm in a more pleasant mood. I'm not as snappy and stuff like that. And I'm like, I had no idea how much of a jerk I was being until I'm getting all this sleep
Yeah.
and stuff. I do wake up like 4:30 in the morning. I go to the gym.
Oh yeah.
Um,
So you're
I
advisor, yeah.
Yep, I do meditation to help
Good.
me focus on stuff like that. So it's not like I'm not sleeping from like 9:30 to 6 in the morning. Like I get up early because I'm awake, but then I'm awake the whole day and I'm able to really focus a lot more intensely on tasks and get significantly more done.
Good,
So,
good. Yeah.
oh yeah, I think that I always thought like, oh no, I'm a creative and I'm a night owl and that's when my things turn on and stuff like that. And nope, like there's something to be said about being a morning person and being more intentional about doing that work
Yeah.
there.
I
I'm
agree.
not, yeah. So it worked for me. I encourage anybody else to try that and see what happens.
My wife emphasizes that a lot. Get your
Gotcha.
sleep. Get to bed early. You need need at least 8 hours, and
Sure.
yeah, it's proven. So yeah, so what else? I mean, I know we've both been busy. Work has been really busy, and I've been to a point where I'm like, okay, above water, below water, above water, try sometimes like drowning, and because it seems like a lot of things are coming in at the same time, and then like everybody wants something from me at the same time, and so that's interesting. And then yeah, I did some travels too. I just came back from Minneapolis from MMS, and that was a lot of fun. That was a great
Cool.
conference. Yeah, shout out to my peeps at MMS.
I was so jealous. I'm like, oh man, he's like having a good time, and it seemed like the sessions were pretty spot on too.
They're really they're spot on. They've expanded more into like now they're covering Azure and a lot of PowerShell stuff, and it's just not a system center focused, even though it is, but there's a lot more stuff outside of that.
Sure.
And
And they have another one coming up in the fall in New Orleans, right?
Yeah, November. Yeah.
So if people missed out on that one, they can check that one out.
They can check that one out, and it's smaller. It's still the same quality and similar speakers as the main one. It's just that it's a smaller capacity.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be a good one to go to.
Cool.
It's a week after Ignite actually.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, it's actually good for the speakers because if you got international speakers and stuff that are going to be at Ignite and are also selected for MMS.
They're already in the country.
Here, exactly. So they just
That's
have to.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was good. Nothing else. Same old, same old.
Gotcha.
Dealing with Windows 10 stuff at work, and now there's a kind of a panic at the security division is like, hey, we got Windows 7. What are we doing about it? We got to get them out. I'm like, oh, now you woke up,
Sure. Right. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. But there's been enough time to shake all that stuff out. But it's funny when I hear like, oh, I still have this one XP machine. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, but it's not connected to the network. I'm like, yeah, but can somebody walk up to it and do something? Like, still, like, I just wish that, I don't blame the IT sysadmin for that, but I am after the companies that are not willing to update their software to modern things. So
we ran into that problem just very recently. So I had pushed the people who make the paychecks, the pay grades higher than me, and say, hey, I can't force these people. I can do the technology part, but I can't force these people to change and get it done.
Sure.
So there needs to be some kind of message from the president's wing and stuff like that. And then they did. The CIO, sent out an email to the entire university. Hey, by the way, Windows 7 is ending support. We got to get these up and all that. And if you don't, by January whatever, we're going to, there are going to be some consequences, right?
Got it.
And then we got some pushback from one or two people that said, hey, I can't upgrade because we just bought a $500,000 equipment that is not going to work with Windows 10.
Wow.
Right? Because they got a computer that's connected to this $500,000 or $1 million research equipment or whatever. And I'm not going to change that equipment. I'm not going to buy a new one to support Windows 10. Now, so we had to quickly come up with problem solving here and said, all right, well,
got it.
Let's keep pushing the vendor for to support it. But at some point we're going to have to isolate your machine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge security risk.
Yeah, it's a security risk. So yeah, so you'll do some stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and speaking of Windows 10, 1903 is out.
Okay.
That came out last week, I think. Yeah.
I thought it was the last couple of days. Yeah.
No, not last week. Last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, I am so out of the loop. It's not even.
Well, I don't feel any different because I've been using the Windows Insider builds for the longest time. So to me it's just a natural progression.
Got it.
So for a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's new, but I don't feel it because I'm using it already.
Gotcha.
So it's out.
Cool. So I actually decided I needed a new laptop. Um,
I was going to
and
ask.
because it was just like the one I had was just so heavy, and if I put it when I brought it to work, I would try to do some personal stuff on it during lunch. It was such a pain to be in my backpack, and I like to take a walk. Walking with the thing was like exercise,
Yeah.
and so I decided like, all right, I don't buy machines often. Let me do this, and so I bought a. My intention was to get a used um, first generation Surface laptop with the
Yep.
i5 and 8 gig of RAM, and my budget was like, all right, like around $550. I found a brand new one, still in the box, sealed, for 700.
Oh.
So I bought it off of eBay, and it came to my house completely sealed. And like I was like, is there something wrong with this thing? I can't find it. And I'm like, this is awesome. I know the Surface Laptop 2 is out with the i8.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the eighth, the eighth generation i7s and stuff like that. But I'm like, I don't need that. And for the I paid $700 for this with the shipping and all that stuff. The brand new version of it is like $400 or $500 more.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this for.
I love those laptops actually because so in Minneapolis at the Mall of America they have a Microsoft store, and so I walked in there on my last day. I'm like, oh man, this is really nice. I could use one. I should get one. It's a laptop too. And I compared it with the Surface Book, and I actually prefer the laptop than the Surface Book. I didn't like the hinge and stuff like that.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah, it made it more
Yeah.
bulkier, and stuff. But the
It's
laptop,
heavier too.
it's heavier, and I
Mhm.
was like, oh my God. And then I just kind of held back because I still have my Surface Pro 4 that I can use around. So yeah.
Yeah, like there's a lot. I could have gotten more bang for the buck if I got an HP or something like that. But my requirement was the screen ratio had to be 3:2.
Yeah.
Like, I am tired of this widescreen garbage.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. So there's very few options for that. There's the MacBook Pro, there's the Surface, any Microsoft laptop and book. There's the LG,
Okay.
and then there's the Huawei, which of course nobody's gonna buy their stuff anymore.
You won't be
And,
able to connect to the network.
Right. And so like I just wanted something I can easily do all like our home stuff with, not for watching movies,
Yeah.
but to do a lot of writing on and research and stuff like that. And if I want to do like really high, like if I need something for that needs disk space and stuff like that, I have Azure, and then I also have my older laptop, which is an i7 with a ton of RAM and disk space and stuff like that. So I'm very for, and I want people to change their focus on, instead of having the latest and greatest, buy what you need.
Yeah, sure.
Because if people started doing that, that would change technology. Put a more focus on like, all right, people don't want the fastest thing, but they actually want this kind of screen. Let's look
Right.
into that. They want more security.
So
You
like even touchscreen, right? If you're never going to use touchscreen, then why get it, right? If you're
Right.
never going to do hand, with a pen and stuff, you never touch it. Why spend more for that piece? To just
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of pens and stuff, not that I use it, but I've become such a fanatic of OneNote.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I love OneNote. Oh my God. In the beginning stages, right? I've been using it, but in a small scale for a long time. But every time I'm trying to put some notes, I'm like, never mind. I'll try it. Well, I didn't know how to organize my notebooks. I didn't know how to organize my pages and my sections. It was always like, so I was always thinking about it in my head, like, okay, I want this, I want that, and then this never flow. So then I'm like, okay, I just started like adding stuff and then organizing it after the fact, and now they start making sense.
Got it.
So it's great, and I use with Google Chrome, there's a OneNote extension called OneNote Clipper or something like that.
Right.
It is great, man. So when I'm on like certain websites or reading articles or KB stuff and all that, I want to like, hey, I want to save this. I just click on that extension, clip it. I can clip the article or the web page or a region of it and tell it which notebook and which section to put it in, and it just puts it in, and I've got everything there.
Cool.
So
Yeah,
that's
dude.
what I do with bookmarking and stuff now.
Yeah, I've been inking with OneNote since Office XP.
Oh wow.
Like, oh yeah, like I would have these huge laptops with tiny screens, and I was like, that's the thing I want because I can flip it, and then
Yeah.
it was a touch screen with a really old style pen that I can ink on.
Right.
And I was always the one off, like, you want a slower computer because you want that? I'm like, yep, because I take all my notes on it that way, and I'm blown away when I can pick up like a little tablet now that can run OneNote compared to the I had this the the models I remember are the HP TC 4400, and
Okay.
then it was a Fujitsu that I had that was really nice, and yeah, it was like a who makes those screens that you can write on? They've been doing it forever. The Wacom.
Oh, I know what you're
It was
talking about.
it was basically Wacom displays,
Right, right.
and so the price got jacked up and stuff. But I would have the thing for years, so I
Yeah.
was able to justify it to work and stuff like that. So now it's just like a thing. But a lot of people don't really get the whole inking thing yet,
Yeah.
which is sad because it's yeah,
It's really powerful.
yep,
Really, really powerful. And then you can convert it to text.
absolutely,
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I love it.
yep.
So I've been using a lot of that now. So I've got a notebook for my work, and I've got various sections, and then I've got one for personal, and
And it
some for my
syncs to
stuff.
everything.
Everything. Just yeah,
Yep.
instantaneously. It's amazing. I
Mhm.
just can't wait to tap into more functionality of it. Like
Sure.
so yeah. So that's one of my
One of the things I would do before there was bullet journaling, which I do bullet journaling, is I would write down, okay, these are the things I need to do for today, take notes on them. Whatever I didn't finish, I would start a new page within the workbook and say, okay, these are the things I need to do for tomorrow. So I would always have this rolling list of
okay.
tasks and things I had to do. So if I was ever looking for like, all right, did I get that done? I can just do a search, and it would because the OCR, it
Right.
would find all the notes related to it and stuff like that. And I have these notes going back for years. Like
Yeah.
Tech Ed 2012, my first one, I did everything inked in OneNote
Yeah. Well, the
on
sync
this huge laptop. Yeah.
amazing. I see. So I volunteer for this exchange student organization, and they took me, flew me down to their conference in Washington D.C. back in April,
Sweet.
and so I had a session there. I had a couple of sessions. They want me to talk about some technology stuff and social media and stuff like that. So I started showing them OneNote. I said, "Here, let me show you how powerful this is." I said, "I wish this session was on day one, that you guys could have taken your notes for the
Right.
entire session." And then I started demoing about how to capture receipts from their phone and then
Nice.
put it into OneNote. And I was showing them live. I said, "Here, I've got 5 different receipts, from Starbucks and things like that. So if you want to keep track of your expenses, boom, here you go." Then
Yep.
I asked the audience for some business cards. Give me some business cards. Okay, yeah, I'm going to add you to my contacts. I scanned it with the Office Lens app, right?
Yep.
And it converted it, it put it in, and I said, "Look, it captured everything." They were like, "Wow." Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
So yeah, I love those demos.
Mhm.
So another thing, speaking of technology, I want to give a shout out to the folks from Splashtop. It's a remote remote tool similar to TeamViewer.
Okay.
And these guys were really, really nice to me, and generous enough to provide me with a solution to use their product. I was trying to use TeamViewer, but they didn't come through. TeamViewer has a free version and then the paid versions, and they go up. They're pretty significantly expensive.
Hmm.
So my intent was that here's what I'm doing. When I do consulting work or whatever, or if I want to help somebody, whether it's a community member or something like that, I just want to say, here, let me connect to your thing, and go to this URL or whatever, and give me your code, and I'll remote in, and we can see the screen, and I can take over and help you out. And then the other thing was, um, I have, like, these bulky laptops where I have my labs, right? My
Right.
Hyper-V labs for config manager and things like that. So, when I'm speaking at conferences or user groups, I'm, you know, bringing these hefty laptops with me, right? And I'm only going to use it once technically.
Hmm.
So I'm like, hey, there has to be a better way. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave my labs at home and use like my Surface Pro 4 or something smaller,
Hmm.
lighter, and then just remote back in, and just like it's there with me.
Oh man, that's risky.
It is, but I think I can do, depending on what the conference is, depending on the event. But I'm sure I'm always going to have a backup,
Yeah, of
plan,
course.
do videos and things like that, or even bring one of the lighter labs.
Power word.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
Paolo.
Yep.
But yeah, so there are some people that do that actually. They do speaking engagements, and they're connecting back to their home server and stuff like that. So yeah,
Sure. Yeah, a lot of the demos I've been seeing lately are all in Azure. It's
yeah,
like, that's their stuff. And unfortunately, if Azure's down, which we've seen in the last one or two times the last 12 months, like that's an issue. But it's like, yeah, instead of having, I feel the pain, man. I did
yeah,
that, the backpack and the laptop in my backpack every day. I'm like, I'm done with this.
yeah,
So I get it. And traveling with one is going to be worse.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
especially when is traveling, like when with planes and airports and stuff, because your laptop bag is just not you just don't have your laptop. You
sure.
got all sorts of things that sometimes I'll bring my camera, sometimes I don't, but I got my, you know, medications and this and that. It's like next thing you know, you're walking through the terminals, and it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is heavy.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, my battery is running low because I'm trying to see how much life I can get out of this thing, and it's significant. I'm very happy. I haven't charged it in 2 days,
But
so
it's died now, right?
yeah, it's. I was like, I don't need the. It'll get through the show, and I know, and it has. So
Okay.
we can keep it. Don't want to go too long for the people that are watching,
Yeah.
but
I thought it's just gonna like stop mid
it could. I
sentence.
don't know what's gonna. We're at 12%, so we'll
Oh
see
my
what
God. Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. We should.
um,
So
any
yeah,
interesting food you've eaten lately?
food. Oh man, my go-to is like Vietnamese food. I love Vietnamese food. Oh my God, I love those noodles, man. The not the soups, but more of the dry, and
Gotcha.
love Vietnamese. Pop,
Hmm.
a small little hole in the wall place that opened up, and I've been going to that too. I have their special Nepali noodles and stuff.
Got it.
And the guy is like, "How spicy?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Make it,
That's awesome.
yeah, make it spicy and give me extra." They're like, "You want extra?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, give me on the side." And they make this homemade hot sauce. You can still see the seeds and the skin and everything, and you just need a little bit of that, and
Cool.
yeah,
Well, for me, there's a new Indian place that's opened up in town, really close to our office,
okay,
and it's a hole in the wall place. And first couple times I went there, I'm like, your stuff is great, and he's like, yeah. And I said, you can make it spicier. Then he's like, yeah, but the thing is, what we found is when you make it spicier, people are uncomfortable with that, and so we
yes,
have to make. But he's like, the next time you come, tell me.
yes,
um, and I can give you something to make it hotter. I was like, well, I want it as hot as like your
cooked,
mom would make it.
cooked,
And he's like, well, here, talk to my mom. She's right here. She's
yeah,
the cook.
yeah,
So the
yeah,
next time they brought out all these Indian peppers that you can't find in American public
grocery store,
shopping stores and stuff like that, and I added it in, and I was sweating. And
yeah,
my coworker's like, dude, you okay? I'm like, this
yeah,
is amazing. You want something? Like, nope, we can smell it. We're
right,
good.
right.
But they
Yeah,
have,
so when I go to places like that, I always tell them, I said, cook it Indian style. Don't
Right.
don't give me the stuff after the fact. Like cook it the way I want it, like like you would eat it, and
Yep.
put the spices in it. I don't care. And then yeah, because now it's
Yeah.
blended in. It's like it's already got the oils and everything out, and yeah,
Exactly. No, it's different when you cook with the spice in there. The chemical and gets into the meat and the
yes,
vegetables, and it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
different.
All right, man. So I think
Cool.
we should end it before your battery dies.
Yeah, and this before the vampires come out or whatever, alligators. I don't know. So
Yeah, it's good. It's my light went
oh,
out. Did my light go out? Hold on, hold
it
on.
happened to you first. Look out.
That is funny. What the? Oh, there it is.
There we go.
You know what it
Cool.
is? It's a smart light bulb. And so,
Uh, not very smart. I think you need a different one.
yeah.
But
So anyway, so until next time, thanks for watching us. And I am Harjit. You'll find me on Twitter as @Hoorge, Hoorge.
hey, and I'm Prayer. You can find me on Twitter at the IT Jedi.
All right.
Cool.
Cheers.
See y'all later.
Bork, bork, bork.